And welcome to SOLIDWORKS Skills video.
Continuing our discussion of sketch tools, let's fast forward a little bit and start to talk about a few of the more advanced sketch capabilities. We've already discussed the basic tools that are provided: rectangle, line, circle, and so on. Now here we are in a situation. We have a part that's already been drawn and extruded. You can see it has a thickness. By the way, if you ever want to zoom in, align it with the workspace, you can click on a face or an edge and click on the align. It's called the normal to, or control plus 8, I guess, and that will bring it back into true view, which is full view. If you look over at the feature tree, the highlighted item is the boss extrude. This has already been extruded, and every such feature has a sketch that is behind the feature, in other words, that defines the shape and attributes. So if you click on the right pointing triangle, it will open that item, and sure enough, there's a sketch there that we can begin to change as we wish. So I'm going to right click on that, click on Edit Sketch, which is this icon in the upper left corner, and now I'm back editing the sketch. And if, for example, let's do a real simple thing, I'll draw a circle in the field. I'm not going to dimension it or anything. I'll click on OK. If I were now to leave this sketch by clicking on the OK item in the upper right corner here, you can see where I'm pointing. It will impart that feature, and it will do it by cutting a hole that is the shape and size of that circle that I drew. Alright, so let's go back to a normal view. Let's go back in and edit the sketch. There's the original circle, the circle we just created. Let's create another shape, arbitrarily a rectangle. And the capability that I'm about to show you is how to mirror entities across a given line. Now in this case, I want to have a symmetric pair of circle and rectangle on the right hand side of this part. In order to do that, you have to have a line or a mirroring line, a reference line. I will create a center line. As we discussed, a center line is treated as a construction line. So I'm preparing to draw the line. Now notice, as I move up to a vertex, I get this little yellow square that is telling me this is the center of that particular line. So I'm going to click on that, and if I drag, notice I can drag at any arbitrary angle, but if I drag straight down, I can go to the facing center on the line that's on the other side, click again, and double click, and now I have a construction line bisecting this large rectangular field. So I will accept that, and now the next thing I want to do is to mirror these two entities around that line. In order to do that, I can click and drag, and it highlights the features. If I click on Mirror Entities, those are the entities that are indicated for being mirrored. Now all I really need to do is to say what is the line I want to mirror about. So I'll click down here in the Mirror About field, click on the construction line. You can see already in yellow it's previewing the features that will be mirrored, and if I click on OK, there they are. Now let's do a little bit of an experiment. If I were to move one of them, notice that the mirrored feature follows suit. So if I change the size, these retain their parametric sensibility, if you will, that anything I do to the originals or the masters is copied because of the mirroring verb. So I'll click on OK. And now when I'm done, if I were to exit this sketch, in fact, those features have been mirrored, and there they are, as one would expect. Okay, so that is the mirror capability of doing a sketch. Let's go back into the sketch again. Right click, edit sketch. Other things that we have not yet explored are, let's do a really important here called trim entities. Now if let's say I wanted to have, I intentionally dragged this rectangle up to intersect the circle. If I zoom in, you can see the degree to which it intersects. Now if I wanted to have this oddly shaped feature cut out, what I would want to do is to remove the unwanted lines, and I would do that with the Trim Entities tool. So I'll click on Trim Entities. The default is called Power Trim. There are other options here. I've gotten quite used to using Power Trim. I find it suitable for most of what I need to do. So Power Trim, what it will do, if you click in an open area, I'm clicking inside the rectangle and I'm dragging straight up, you can see how it has deleted the unwanted lines. If I were to click on OK, that's fine. Now notice that it did that because I have now, in a sense, damaged the mirror featuring. There's a limit to how much of the mirroring occurred. It, for example, did not mirror the trimming over on the right. If I wanted to have that be the case, where anything I did that mirror the trimming that I did, what I could do, for example, would be to delete. I could highlight and delete all of these, and then repeat the mirror. I still have my center line, so let's go back and repeat the mirror. I'm going to mirror entities. I will highlight this group. The line to mirror about is this guy, and sure enough, there it has mirrored that now trimmed feature. Your experience will show it's a good thing to play around with it and get a sense of what SolidWorks would do under different scenarios. So here I am. I've power trimmed and gotten rid of the unwanted lines. When I click on OK for the sketch, here I am again with a mirrored thing that is according to what I described. Let's go back into the sketch one more time. And we're going to discuss a thing called offset entities. Offset means that you have a given shape and you want to create a line that follows the contour either inside or outside. And I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see this better. I'm going to click on offset entities. Right now nothing is selected. If I were to click on that line, notice this yellow outline that follows the entire box, and in doing so I've created essentially a wall thickness around that feature. If I want to have it be inside instead of outside, I can click on the reverse button and it would do so on the inside of that feature. I really want it on the outside. Looks good to me. If I click on OK, now again, this is not one of the mirrored features, so it won't show up on the right automatically. Just out of curiosity, let's see what happens. I'm going to simplify this drawing quite a bit. I'm going to get rid of some of the things. I'm going to get rid of the thing on the right. I'll get rid of the rectangle by deleting lines. I could also use power trim. Let's go ahead and do that. Trim entities. I'm going to trim that away, that away, that away, that away, and so on. So now all I've got left is this oddly shaped thing. I don't know how to describe it. And if you were to now finish the trim, finish the sketch, sure enough, it has extruded. It's pretty logical what it does. It is extruded starting from the outside, assuming that the outermost line is the beginning of the part. It extrudes to the next closed shape. And let's go back into the sketch for a minute, and you'll see the outermost shape is this line that goes all the way around. The next innermost closed shape is this thing here. And So boy, that's pretty powerful. Alright, so we're done with that. I'm going to make this up. Let's not click on the dimension. I'm going to do a normal view again. And speaking of dimensions, if you see here, let's do just a short segue into dimensions. If I were to double click on this dimension, it permits me to change it. I'm going to change it to 0.15. I'll just punch a 5 on the end and press enter. And sure enough, it changed the offset, which was what I happened to want at that moment. Now if I were to click on OK, there it is modified the part. So we're beginning to see some of the power of the various sketch tools. Let's go back into the sketch one more time. We're going to do one more tool and then we'll be finished here. Again, we'll click on a line, do a normal to. So here we are looking at the sketch. Okay, now I'm ready for the next tool and the last one of this video, which is a linear sketch pattern. This allows me to have a repeat, a controlled repeat of a feature. If, for example, you were creating a screen where you wanted multiple holes in an XY pattern, let's go ahead and do that and do a simple version of that. I'll go into Trim Entities and I'm going to get rid of the inside lines. When I release, notice that the offset goes away because there's nothing to offset from. The feature that I'm going to repeat is a circle. I will place a circle on the face, and the next thing I will do is go into the linear sketch pattern tool. Let me zoom in a little bit, and in fact you can see it's already created in yellow. You can see in yellow right here there's a second hole that is in line on the x-axis. Up, look at direction 1, the x-axis. There are 2 of them. Now they're too close together. If I increase the distance, I can do it either by typing a number in or pushing on the up arrow. Use the up arrow for this one. So I've created, now I've got a pattern of 2, now it's 3, 4, 5. I'll stop there. But I also want to have a pattern going in the positive Y direction. This would be a single array. I want a two-dimension array, 2-axis array. So I'm going to go down to the Y-axis, and again I'm going to click and create 2. Now again, they're too close together for what I want. I'm going to increase that. It's now a square pattern with let's see, this one is 0.2 inches. So they're both 0.2 inches. I have 2, 3, 4, and I can keep going as far as I want. I'm going to stop there. And sure enough, now I have a nice array, a grid of these holes. If I were to leave the sketch, I have now created what looks like a sieve. You can do this with any such feature, sketch feature, and it's a very powerful tool. So that concludes this particular video. Thank you for watching. This video is part of a series created by Neil Rosenberg and Joseph Caswell. All rights reserved.